the album I wanted to talk about in full today is this gem that was released last Friday. This is Baby Rose, and she has an album out called Yearnalism. Now, you guys are familiar with the term yearning, obviously. So, this album is about a special kind of yearning for a romantic, for romance, for self. I mean, Baby Rose is another one who is incredibly self aware. In fact, I'm going to play this clip from a recent interview she did with Vibe magazine where she explains her creative process.
Being used past the third take. Like, we're just keeping the rawness and realizing that a part of what makes me who I am is the surrendering aspect. And yeah, I think that everything can be beautiful and polished and lush and all of the things. But when it comes to the lead vocal and my performance of that, there needs to be a true reflection of the song. And that can only come from vulnerability. And how much more vulnerable can you be than when you just allow yourself to, I don't know, not overcook it and not over perfect your performance.
See, that's a very interesting way of looking at art. And this is coming from somebody who has self published 12, or is it 12 or 13? I can't remember. I've done a lot of books over the last 10 years. We'll say 13. So, yes, I've written 13 novels by myself independently. And there is that itch to just keep perfecting things and keep perfecting things, but you got to be raw in your art. And I think it's an incredible thing that Baby Rose is admitting that, yes, it's nice that my music can sound like this and sound like that, but at the same time, you just can't be you can't be a perfectionist. You got to let things be what they are. And yearnalism is a huge lesson in, just surrendering and just living in the moment and, coming to grips with the fact that when things are over, they're over. Like the lead single is a song called But Never Mind, or it's styled, but not apostrophe, but comma NVM. Because the kids use shorthand these days in their text, and NVM is short for never mind. But yes, this is a song about a girl who is talking about how she gave her love to this person, how it was never enough, and how the love that she gave to this person was for them only, and that they could have had it all. But at the end of the day, this person wasn't ready for it. She's like, but never mind. And fellas and women who love the ladies, because we are a equal opportunity program around here. We are not, biased in any stretch of the imagination. If a woman tells you never mind, forget it. Like you got to cut your losses and move on. Because if a woman says never mind, she has already moved on. And this song is by Baby Rose is absolutely a perfect example of that. When a woman says but never mind, donezo. So you got to, kind of move on with things. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, I messed that up. So let me try to remember that for the next time. And she's got a duet with Elmine, which is the African UK singer who is one of the better young vocalists today. He's only 25 and he can sing his tail off. Apparently, he says he doesn't engage in sexual activity because he doesn't want it to mess up his voice. Now, as somebody who can't sing, I can't imagine that would be that much of a problem. But again, I have never had to nurse a vocal instrument. This voice that you hear, it's mine, unfortunately. I wish I had a deeper voice. Like I joke on this all the time. It's like if a woman that has a sort of, you know, a spicy tenor, a salty tenor, or even a little baritone or a little husky in her voice, she can have her way with me because, well, I we both can't sound like public accountants and IT professionals. One of us has to have some bass in our voice, and the bass is absent from my voice, unfortunately. So that's why I enjoy Baby Rose so much because she sings like the old jazz singers from back in the day, the old Sarah Vaughns, the Donna Washingtons, the Billie Holidays, the Nina Simones. I'm not saying she's as great as them because I mean she's only 31 years old. She's got a lot of growing to do as an artist. But if you are listening, if you think Baby Rose sounds like a baby, no, she sings, you know, from the diaphragm, and has some, some bass to her voice. And it's very fun to listen to her, interpret songs like Sunday, where she just talks about how wonderful things are on a Sunday morning, that she's able to restart her life again. Because Sunday, we always get the Sunday scaries, right? Those of us who have jobs, we always like, man, we enjoyed this weekend, but damn, it's back to work on Monday. But Baby Rose uses Sunday as a way to say, okay, now this is a chance for me to reset and get ready for the rest of the week and for the rest of my life. So that song is a standout. I mentioned Is It Love with Elmine, and she's also got a duet with here on Leon Thomas called Best Friends. And that song is going to be one that a lot of people who are in and out of relationships with people that they absolutely love as human beings, but maybe they don't have the best romantic chemistry, are just going to flock to. Because even Baby Rose says at the end, I just miss my best friend. And we've all been in a relationship where, we just miss hanging out with that person. Like, it ain't even got to be nothing sexual. It ain't even got to be nothing romantic. It's just the fact that y'all had a vibe, like a chemistry together that only you two understood. And you understood quite clearly what it was. So there's that on this album. There's the closing song called Jasmine Sonnet, because Jasmine is her birth name, Baby Rose's birth name. And it's just her talking about all the things that, she should have done when she was a kid, or maybe she missed out on as a kid, but now that she's an adult, she gets all of those things. And again, you're gonna like Yearnalism. If you just go listen to it, it's yearnalism, like the word yearn and alism, because I think it's kind of like a play on journalism. As a writer and as a sports writer and as a day job, I can definitely relate to that. So yeah, Yearnalism is Baby Rose's journal into yearning. And we all have been there, yearning for something, yearning for love, yearning for acceptance, yearning for happiness, yearning for peace, yearning for that thing that person did the other night. we all can relate to yearning in some form or fashion. And Baby Rose gives it to us on Yearnalism. Again, she's only 31 years old. She's got an interesting story. She was born in DC. She was raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Her mother was a manager for a DC rap group, and that's how she got in front of different labels and things. She went to Spelman, HBCU, all women's HBCU in Atlanta, to I think it was a major either in sociology or psychology, but she still continued to perform. And she put out a couple of albums on Island Records. They didn't do very well. So this new label called Secretly Canadian, which is an interesting name for a record label. Gee, I hope Drake isn't running it. But yeah, she went to Secretly Canadian Records and she put out a good album in 2023. And now she's back with Yearnalism in 2026. And if you think that, certain forms of R&B are dead, they're not. Because Baby Rose, again, she sounds like somebody out of the 50s and 60s. The instrumentation, it sounds very 60s, 70-ish without being cheesy. And it's a beautiful record about growth. Like I said earlier in this show about Sid being incredibly self-aware, Baby Rose is just as self-aware. I think it's different because Sid has all of these different vices that are messing with her, the drinking, the drugs, the woman chasing. For Baby Rose, I think her vice is love. I think that's her vice on these records, that you just get the fact that this is a young woman who deeply reveres and respects and admires love, and feels absolutely crestfallen when her partner doesn't have that same respect and admiration for love. And you get that sense on Yearnalism that, she just says on songs like When I'm Gone, I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna be fine. And you have a song like Better when, she's like, I can't, hide myself, to save your feelings because I'm better than that. Like, just an incredible record. I mean, like I said, R&B as people loved it back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s, and even part of the 90s, it ain't dead. It's just not being pushed widely. You're going to have to look deeper for it. You're going to have to, do some digging. You're going to have to do some real digital crate digging is what I want to call it. Digital crate digging. That's what you got to do to find the music that you want. If you think that people aren't doing disco anymore, there's disco records out there. If you think people aren't doing jazz fusion, jazz funk, Butcher Brown out of Richmond, Virginia. If you are looking for something along the lines of, you know, Return of Forever, Weather Report, Headhunters, Roy Ayers Ubiquity, Butcher Brown. Trust me, Butcher Brown, they got that jazz sound that you like. Guaranteed. I mean, if you think that people aren't doing like, bedroom music anymore, I mean, bedroom music that isn't raunchy, there's people doing that too. You just got to look deeper, and you'll be glad that you did.